Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, everyone, to another MCU movie episode of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's in Eternal with me tonight?
Well, sorry, I just woke up from watching Eternals. This is Bill from Gamer Looks at 40 podcast.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kenneth Sanity, and I, too, long to launch myself into the sun.
I am the Let's Play Princess Phoebe Stanton. Thanos did nothing wrong.
And we are here. It's been, God, I looked it up. We hadn't done a MC movie since 2022. We skipped completely in 2023 because I've been burned out. But I can't say they're back, but we're doing one. So We finally pulled the Band-Aid off. The people voted for it. And we are here to talk about Eternals, directed by Chloe Zhao, and came out in 2021. Doesn't feel that long ago.
And I really just want to thank all of our beloved patrons on Patreon who made me do this.
Yeah, same. My wife actually recorded a little thing on her phone thanking your patrons for ruining our night because she was so mad watching this movie. She was so angry. It actually made it kind of fun because we were just like, oh my God, every time we pause this movie to do something, there's always an hour left. There's always an hour left. Like time stands still in this movie. There's always an hour or at least an hour left.
Well, we have to spend so much time in the past.
But do nothing in the past. Like do nothing there. But have no reason for. I mean, I understand what they're trying to do. We'll talk about this movie. And we're going to talk about this as far as like the ideas, because there are some good ideas here, and there are some things I actually do like. But boy, oh boy, this one, I was really thinking through it this time. So did everyone see this in theaters? I saw this in theaters.
No,
and I saw this in theaters, and I remembered a lot of it, but I really do remember being very sleepy towards the middle.
This was the first movie in the MCU that I decided, you know what? I'm going to wait till Disney Plus.
I remember. I think because I had, at that time, this was 2021. This was right after pandemic. I was probably hungry to see stuff in theaters at that point. Like I miss being in theater. I like going to the movie theater. I enjoy the whole experience. I'm lucky enough to be in Austin, Texas, in the Austin area where we have really good movie theaters where people aren't throwing popcorn and talking and actually respect the movie. So it's actually a fun experience here in the ATX. And I think I was just really hungry to see something in theaters. And I think I had some friends who wanted to see it. I had an MCU group I used to go see movies with all the time. So we just got the band back together for one more fling at the Eternals. And I made some realizations in the course of this movie. And we'll talk about it as we go forward. But there's quite a bit I actually do like, but there's a lot I don't. And we'll go through it. But the first time around, I do remember because I was no longer drinking. And this might be the first Marvel movie I'd seen not drinking. I was very tired and sleepy halfway.
I didn't see this in theaters, unfortunately, because my wife wouldn't go with me. She's like, I'm not seeing that. I'm like, but it's a Marvel movie, so I didn't go. I eventually watched on Disney Plus, but I watched it the way that I think you should, where I watched it over the course of like 3 days, and I watched a little bit each day. Because this movie should not be a movie; it should be a miniseries. But that's my history with this. What about you, Ken?
I did not see this in theater. I did not watch this on Disney Plus for the first time. The first time I watched this was I just bought it digitally.
Okay.
So, I didn't even wait for it to show up on Disney Plus. This was one of the ones that I didn't see in theater because, unlike Bill, I did not have a good final experience before COVID. The last movie I saw before COVID was Blumhouse's Fantasy Island on Valentine's Day. And I was in no rush to get back to the theater, honestly. And this movie wasn't enough to do it for me. I will say after watching it, I wish I had seen this in the theater. But yeah, I don't really have much of a history with this.
Okay. And what about you, Phoebe?
COVID really didn't affect us all that much out here because it's so small town area. So my roommate and I were kind of going to the theater on and off while everything was going down. But this was not a movie that we were going to spend the money on. So about last year, I watched it on Disney Plus. Absolutely despised it. But watching it yesterday again, I see why a lot of choices were made. And it's still not an excellent movie or anything. But bits of it actually grew on me.
That's fair. I personally don't hate it. I want to like it. It has issues which we're going to get into. I mean, for those, it's kind of like what they did with Guardians. They took unknown characters. I had no idea who the fuck the Eternals are, and I'm a comic reader, not a big comic reader, but like I'm in that world, and I had no idea who these people were until this movie. I'm saying it's Guardians. I didn't really know who the Guardians were either, except that movie worked. At least the first one.
Here's the thing, though. I feel like if this movie came out today, it would be received much better.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I think maybe better. I think so. Here's the thing with MCU movies, and I think I've said this before on this show. I can't imagine.
It's been a while, so it's fine.
I've been on 30 of these episodes at this point. I'm sure I've said this sentence about the MCU at some point in my career here on Games My Mom Found. But the MCU, and MCU fans don't like admitting this, but it's true. The MCU is like a police procedural or a crime procedural. They're all kind of the same. They all have the same formula. And MCU fans don't like admitting that, but that's okay. Like, just like people like CSI Miami or Criminal Minds or, NCIS. I really like the Elementary show that was on a while back with, what's his face from Trainspotting. But
Johnny Lee Miller from Hackers?
Johnny Lee Miller.
Lucy Liu as Watson one?
Yeah. I like that. My wife and I have watched that whole series over and over again. It's like one of our comfort food series. We like it. It's solid. We like it because it's the mystery of the day, the villain of the day. Sherlock Holmes does smart people things, figures it out, and hooray, and it's over. And so MCU movies are formulaic. They have a certain beat and rhythm to them, and there's differences. But so when this movie came out, again, this was right after pandemic. I think this was one of the first MCU movies to come out post-pandemic, if I'm not mistaken. And it's so unlike anything we've ever seen. And there's structural problems with it. As the director is, we'll talk about the director too. We really should talk about this director. It just wasn't unlike anything we had seen, and it broke our expectations. And I think MCU fans have expectations in their head when it comes to what a Marvel movie should be. And this is not it. It doesn't help the fact that this movie is terribly paced and tries to do things with characters without taking the time to build characters. I read a review yesterday after watching this, and the person was spot on. This should have been a series.
Yes.
If this was a series, I'm in, because then you have time to develop these characters and develop the relationships. Because this director, she's an exceptional director. I mean, she won Best Director and Best Picture the year before for Nomadland. I have not seen that movie. It was pandemic. She's an exceptional director, and I haven't seen it. And I don't really know much of her work, but from what I've heard, she's excellent. And she does weepy, sad character studies of people, leaving their lives in their 60s and driving around, living out of their van as a nomad. And this is not her wheelhouse. It's a very interesting thing, because all the stuff she tries to do as far as characters go, the stuff she's really good at, fall completely flat. And we'll get into it. But I think the issue really is Ken. So maybe you're all right. Maybe now be a little different. This movie, people weren't expecting this and didn't want this, and MCU fans didn't want this.
Exactly. MCU fans didn't want this. Those same people that are saying, oh, the Marvel movies are the same. Wah. Yeah, you didn't watch this. That's why they're all the same. You did this. This was fresh. This was interesting. It did something completely different.
Well, no, I was going to say, that's one of the things that I kind of like about this new saga that's been going on, is that at least they're trying to do different things. Because you can even look at WandaVision, that gives off this feel of the older TV shows. Or up until a point, you have She-Hulk, which was more of a crime show at points. And I was happy with those types of things, that they were going out of their wheelhouse.
So what I'm hearing is that you agree that this should have been a series.
Oh, absolutely.
Like She-Hulk and WandaVision.
There's so many characters you have so much to introduce. I mean, how many Eternals are there again? Like 10 of them?
10. There's 10 of them. 10.
And they cut Eternals out of this movie.
Okay.
They did?
Yeah. Like, there are more Eternals.
Oh, yeah. We've met a few of them in the past.
Damn. So, it just... And then you also have... Another big issue I have with this movie is you add Kit Harington for absolute... He doesn't need to be here. He's only here because he's getting ready for the next movie he's going to be in, so we're going to introduce him here. And that can work sometimes. Like, you can work with cameos, like with Hawkeye and Thor, but he's not a cameo. He's just here he's in the beginning of the movie. He's in one scene in the middle on a phone call, and he's at the end of the movie.
Nope.
What movie? There's not going to be a sequel to this.
No, they already canceled it. But there was a sequel planned the moment they finished this, and that got canceled.
Well, isn't there going to be a, what was it, Dark Knight or Hollow Knight?
There was the Black Knight, and the person talking to him in the post-credit who's just like, are you ready to touch that sword? Is supposed to be Blade.
That's Blade, yeah.
Yeah,
it's
Blade.
Mahershala Ali's voice.
100% Mahershala Ali's voice, and I got hyped when I saw that. I was like,
awesome Blade.
God, wouldn't it be great if we actually get that Blade movie?
That would be lovely. I really am looking forward to that.
He should just do more work. Like, hey, he should make an Aelita Battle Angel too.
What's the chance that we're actually going to get that Blade movie?
From what I hear, they might be doing it, but they're going to bring back Wesley Snipes again.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
I'm tired of these motherfuckers ice skating uphill. I don't need him back.
Like, I think Mahershala Ali is the best choice. Like,
Yes.
I love Wesley. Love Wesley. His Blade, unparalleled. Wesley's a little long in the tooth for it now. I don't care if he can still fight. That Blade isn't right for this time.
No, and Ali has shown that he can be in the MCU already and do a good job because he's the best part of Luke Cage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, second best. I don't care. Mike Holter was great in Luke Cage.
Okay, fair. Luke Cage is perfect, but I mean, Potted Mouth was the best villain.
I never finished that show.
Oh,
I never watched it.
shit.
What? It might have. At one point, I was going to do those two, but that was a long time ago.
They're
I
all
kinda-
great except for Iron Fist.
Skip the second half of the first season for Luke Cage and just go straight to the second season.
I skipped this. I didn't watch that scene, but this movie just introduces too much. Introduces the Eternals. You get a little bit on each of them throughout them. I mean, some you don't even really get anything about much. I mean, and you kill off. So one of the leaders of Eternal, or lead leader of Eternals is Ajax, which is played by Salma Hayek. She isn't even in this movie that much, and
No, you killed off Salma Hayek. How could you do that?
I was upset. I'm like, I like her. I like seeing her in movies, and you're just like, nah, we don't. Like, come on. Then, this movie is built like Angelina Jolie is in it, and she's not really a big star in this movie, and that's fine. But like, why even cast her?
Because
have
she
a plot point that really doesn't have any reason to be there.
Yeah.
You cast Angelina Jolie because you get the emotional pathos when Gilgamesh dies. You cast Angelina Jolie because you get the confusion about who she is, like, working well. You cast good actors, you get good performances.
They are good performances. I had no problem with any of them in this movie. I mean, my main issue with this movie is just that it's 2.5 hours long, and I feel like it's bloated, and at the same time, it's missing things.
Ken, let's be honest. You get Angelina Jolie so that way men will buy the tickets.
15 years ago, I'll give you that.
Yeah. I think as far as the acting goes, is too there are some good performances in here. I think Barry Keoghan is how you pronounce his last name. Barry Keoghan. He is so good. I love him as an actor. He's one of my. He's so good. He plays the
Druig.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Irish guy who plays Druig, and I like his performance a lot. I like most of the stuff he's in, and so you get some good performances here. But a lot of the performances are so wooden. The actor who plays Icarus. Wow, I'm sorry. I mean, there's just nothing there.
Okay.
I want to talk about this.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a big thing that I noticed that I'm actually kind of okay with.
Okay.
Ken, do you want to go first?
I was just going to say how funny it is that we have a movie with Kit Harington in it, and he's not the charisma vacuum.
Okay.
Like, instead, you get another Game of Thrones veteran who is the charisma vacuum.
Well, okay, I can actually kind of explain that. Watching this again a second time through, what I noticed is when they start off in 5000 BC Mesopotamia, all of them are like that. Like, none of them show emotion. But when we get the flashbacks to Babylon, a lot of them actually are a lot more emotional, especially Druig and Sprite. It's like they're turning human, and the ones who stick closer to the plan and stay more eternal-like Icarus, don't show the emotion. So it's more of like they're actually becoming people of Earth instead of these space androids.
100%.
Which I didn't
Okay.
I didn't see it that way, and that's actually very smart and good and explains it, but it doesn't make for good drama. It doesn't make for good filmmaking when you don't know this. So when you just have two people woodenly staring at each other and then woodenly have sex in the middle of a field and show these no emotions, it doesn't make for good drama and it doesn't make for good film. It's your explanation is perfect, and now with the explanation, like, oh, that makes a lot more sense. That's cool.
And it would have been a lot easier to notice if it was a series.
It would have been a lot more easy to notice if it was a series, and that didn't help me on minute 45. That minute, like, it felt like hour 45. Like that
Yeah.
that information
I mean, that's
totally
that's
helps
the
on a
issue.
third watching. And I think this movie does reward repeated viewings, but boy, oh boy, you got to really pull yourself or be invited on a podcast to get that second viewing. There's no way I would have seen this a second time. But that's interesting, and that's the mark of a good storyteller and filmmaker. That makes sense to me, right? He has that one emotional outburst that you see towards the end when it's too late, when you just don't care about any of the characters. Like when Selma Hayek dies, I could she was on screen for literally 2 scenes or 3 scenes. I have no emotional connection to this character, and these characters have no ability to have emotional connections with everybody. So it's like, again, and I get now, like, when you mention that makes a lot of sense from a story perspective, but that doesn't help me in the moment, and that doesn't make for an enjoyable film experience.
Wow. I gotta say, this is the first time that I am very diametrically opposed to you, Bill.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Extremely. Like, to the point that I think you need what I got. This is my 3rd time watching it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for some reason, everything clicked.
There's a lot of hidden little details. Like, I have in my notes the very first time that we see a modern deviant fight, which is on the bridge at London. When the deviant heals himself, even if it's just Ajax's power or whatever it was, because I blacked out halfway through this movie, not because it was boring, but because of work-related issues, I noticed that it was still like the same gold threads and stuff, which hints, even an hour before the reveal, that the deviants are connected to the Eternals, that they might come from the same source.
Oh.
True. But
Okay.
yeah, that's fair. Again, I just missed a lot in the second viewing, and maybe because I was sitting with somebody who had seen it for the first time, who was actively groaning and going, on.
Why are we watching this bullshit?
Why are we She was not happy with you, Mike. She really wasn't. She was like, I gotta talk to this Mike Albertin. I got why? And then I said, blame his patrons. And then she's like, I'm making a video for his patrons. She did. She made a little video for his patrons, saying, how dare you make Mike watch this movie? To which then I answered, it's kind of fun making Mike watch bad stuff. Like, that's part of the fun.
That's part of the gig.
Was she at least okay with the soundtrack of the movie? Because, I mean, Time is one of the most perfect songs ever made.
Yes, she was vibing. She was definitely vibing. She had a little vibing thing going on while Pink Floyd was playing. Yeah, because that's a perfect album, and that's probably one of like a perfect song. But I mean, it's other than that, I think it was pretty much a net zero. I totally get what you guys are saying. Maybe it's just I missed context. I don't know. I think there was too much. There was not enough time to really invest in a cast of 10 that are all pretty important to the main plot, because they all have their own little side stories going on. And when you have 10 characters with weird names that you don't know their names, and you don't, it's just a challenge to get through the first time, I think.
I want to talk about another movie real quick. I want to talk about Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad, the first one, directed by David Ayer, had a really similar problem. The movie Suicide Squad played like a sequel to a movie that you've already seen, because it asked you to care about so many characters right away. Right. And this movie has that same problem. And first time I saw it, I was like, nope, not for me. This is dumb. Second time, I was like, it's not bad. It's not bad. Third time, I was Danny DeVito from It's Always Sunny. I get it.
But but most people are not this, and good for you for mining that depth. I agree with you. With my second watching, I think I had basically the same reaction as it did the first one, which was this movie was made by a very talented filmmaker. It looks beautiful. I mean, that's the one thing I think. And that's why I think you were saying, Ken, why you wish you had seen this in theaters. It's amazing. Some of those scenes, those shots, those landscapes, I want put on the wall. Like, they're gorgeous. And in the theater, it is very impressive when you see like at the very end, this frozen celestial, like all that scene, all that. And again, some of the stuff is gorgeous. It's filmed beautifully, which is again the mark of a good filmmaker. Boy, oh boy, there's a lot of time sitting in dusk. There's a reason why I'm asleep during dusk. I can't see anything during dusk. Oh, here comes the fun action scene. Oh, I can't see anything because it's dusk. I really wish I could see this action scene if we did 35 minutes before. And just really quick, I know this makes me sound like a rube. I understand that. All right. I understand this makes me sound like a rube. However, again, the MCU, they're police procedurals, y'all. And MCU fans, they are all kind of the same for the most part. And Ken's right. It is your fault because no one came out to see this. It was also post-pandemic. That's neither here nor there. People are afraid to breathe air. It's much more important where these things were about than a movie. But I don't know. Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me of the giant statue Celestial, which should have raised the sea or ocean levels by so much that half of these places should no longer exist.
Nope. Nope,
Yeah.
because it came out of the earth and left a hole. The water filled in the gaps, got cooled by the lava, made more rock. Like, it makes sense.
He's right, unfortunately.
I know.
Okay, fair.
There was
Fair.
enough displacement of water that the sea levels wouldn't have accurately risen. Another thing, they don't say when this movie takes place.
I do know now, actually.
When?
It takes place after Spider-Man Far From Home, but before Doctor Strange. Multiverse.
Okay.
Not Far From Home, sorry, No Way Home, and then, damn it, those names are too close. After No Way Home, but before before Multiverse of Madness.
So it's post-blip.
It's post-blip, yeah. I mean, they make comments about that,
Yeah.
but this wasn't like the last movie in the timeline where we've had other things and nobody, like, one of the complaints is that in the end of this movie, the Eternal starts to come out of the ground, they turn it to stone, and nobody makes a damn comment about this giant Eternal sticking out of the water.
Yeah, and I was trying to pass that by, but thank you for ruining that.
Oh, sorry.
I was trying to forgive the lack of mention.
I don't have a problem with it.
Well,
Later.
I mean, it's one of those things like, sure, I mentioned it because people have mentioned it and I needed to, but it doesn't really matter to me because, to be fair, the movies we have had since then that take place in a timeline order are all very, like, some of them have nothing to do with Earth, even, like Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Like, you have movies that are far from Earth. So it's okay this hasn't really been mentioned yet. I mean, though, it's fine.
But I know everybody complains about it. And I was trying to, well, this is why. No, you had to ruin it with your official timeline nonsense.
I mean, it's interesting because they also do. I mean, we also remember this is a world in the MCU where this is post Thanos snap. Like, this is post half the people disappearing off the face of the planet and then reappearing 5 years later. This is post. We all know who the Avengers are. We know superheroes exist in this world. So I guess it's not too far of a stretch for me to imagine that a giant celestial being coming out of the earth is like second-rate news. It's like, hey, by the way, in the Indian Ocean, there was this giant monster. It was on the news, but, right after, Thanos snap stuff. So that didn't break me too bad.
For the Eternals, it was the biggest fight of their life. For Earth, it was a Tuesday.
Did you just make a Street Fighter reference, you son of a bitch?
I did.
Because they actually have the complete timeline now on Disney Plus, where you can watch all the movies and shows in the timeline order.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
So Eternals, the Multiverse of Madness, Wakanda Forever. It makes sense. Because you have Multiverse of Madness, Wakanda Forever, Thor: Love and Thunder, Quantumania, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and the Marvels. Four of those movies don't even really take place on Earth, if we're going to get technical. Like, Quantumania doesn't really count. So,
No, not at all.
So yeah, and Multiverse of Madness, that don't really even take place on Earth. That don't take place on Earth either. Like, so, okay, I can buy it now better because, I mean, Wakanda Forever, yes, but they don't give a shit about anyone but Wakanda. Like, that's just not what the movie's about. Like, so yeah, okay, that's fair. I take that. I have that complaint is irrelevant. Anyone listening, you can't complain about it anymore. It is irrelevant because we haven't had movies that take place on Earth, really. So
yeah,
there we go.
And you know what? Let's address another complaint. Let's talk about the runtime. So, Mike, earlier you were like, 2.5 hours, too long. Bill, too long? Is this too long?
Too long for this movie when it's paced this way. When the pacing is glacial, I don't mind a 2.5 hour movie. Some of my favorite movies are 2.5, 3 hours long. I am fine with that. but this movie is paced like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, just slogging and sticking and glooping everywhere.
What about you, Phoebes? What do you think?
I think a movie that's 2.5 hours long needs to have the stuff in it that can make it 2.5 hours long. But some of these plot points I would get rid of, like the Unibrain or whatever the hell it's called. I would completely throw that away. I mean, I sat in a theater for 4 hours for Return of the King. I can't go back.
Yeah, and Endgame was 3 hours and 1 minute.
Yeah, and I saw that in theaters too, and that honestly didn't feel like 3 hours. But this one can feel like a slog at times because of, like Bill said, the pacing. If some of this stuff had been cut or rewritten in better ways, or again, extend it and let everything get the time that is required instead of trying to shrink it into this format.
Like, series would have definitely worked a lot better for this, but I think you need those quiet points in this movie, and I think that's why you get Chloe Zhao, because at the end of the day, this movie's about love.
Yeah.
It's not an action movie. Even the action scenes are kind of, they're fine. Like, they look good, but they're not, wham, bam, slap them around. And the end fight is literally just standing on somebody's hand and using your space magic. Like, you have to understand why they're making this decision, why they've gotten so close to humanity, and to understand how close that Cersei's gotten to fall in love with, Dane Whitman, who does need to be in this. He's crucial to show that Cersei has gotten too close to the planet, has too much of a connection. She can't let this happen.
Well, you have, Kingo and Perun.
Oh, let's give it up for Karun.
Dude,
let's give it up.
Who's Karun?
The
Kingo's
camera guy.
valet.
Oh, so the fire master from Ghostbusters.
No. The guy who's the Fire Master's chauffeur.
Oh, the valet guy. Never mind.
Yeah.
I do not like Kingo in this. I don't like that actor. I've realized.
Wait. Hold on, back up. Are we
I don't
talking
like
about the same person?
Somali.
Camille Nanjiani.
I don't care for him.
See, I think every
I don't know why.
actor in
I
this
just don't
movie
like him.
has at least one scene that proves that they are an extremely good actor.
Oh, he's an extremely good actor. I won't argue anything. I just don't like him for some reason in movies.
Oh, weird.
I don't know. I don't like his comedy. I'm like,
I was gonna say, are you okay with him as a voice actor?
Maybe. I don't know.
You ever watch Adventure Time?
No.
Oh, never mind.
Okay. I don't know. I just, maybe it's just because the last movie I saw him in was the Frozen Empire movie for Ghostbusters, which I enjoyed, but I just don't care. I guess I just don't care for him as an actor for some reason. I don't know. He's a good actor. Just don't like him.
I mean, you also don't like John Leguizamo, right?
He's okay. He was in
This
Violent Night.
podcast is over.
I don't mind John Leguizamo. I
knew
don't
that
like
was coming.
Billy Crystal. I think Billy Crystal I don't like him. I don't like the way he looks. I don't like his voice.
No, it depends on the role.
But it does work in Howl's Moving Castle, but that's it for me for Billy Crystal. So.
Oh, the flame, right?
That's it. That's the only time I'm like, Billy Crystal. Other than that, I'm like, Billy
Princess Bride and Monsters Incorporated. How dare you?
So Kamal Nanjiani is the superhero. He is, I don't know. I felt like a lot of his jokes really fell flat. He was meant to be the more lighthearted comic character. His valet is wonderful. He's the best part of the movie. I love his valet is fantastic. He steals every scene he's in, and even has some really beautiful emotional moments that work very well. Kamal, I felt he didn't quite work for me. I don't mind that actor. I saw him in, I think, Big Sick, and he was really good. I've seen him a couple things, but I just didn't feel like his jokes, it didn't land as much as they wanted to, like his quips. But again, this is not what this movie is. This is not, this is not intended to be summer blockbuster. This is thoughtful prestige season movie.
You don't have enough of any of the characters either to make, like Bill said earlier, to make you care.
There is something to be. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, except for Gilgamesh.
Okay.
Gilgamesh, which is, let's be honest, this poor man's Wong. Let's be honest.
Well, no.
Whoa.
I didn't say Wong. Mike might know what I'm talking about when I say I saw destruction.
Mike does not know what you're talking about, by the way. So
Destruction of the Endless. He just reminded me so much of Destruction. He's got this. His whole power is like this super strength.
Oh, okay.
Somebody else, and he's trying to make a pie. He's making his own beer. He's trying to do something that's not destructive.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. He is destruction.
Didn't even think about that.
Okay, he's credited in this movie as Don Lee, but I will always know him as Ma Dong-suk that's another name he's acted under, his Korean name. And I will always remember him from Train to Busan.
Never seen it.
Oh, shit. Great zombie movie. But no, he was the guy who was basically bare knuckle brawling the zombies and winning.
Never seen it. I've actually, I don't think I've ever, I'm looking at his filmography now. I don't think I've ever seen him in anything.
Oh, he's great. And it was great to see him here and seeing Brian Tyree Henry. Oh, love Brian Tyree Henry.
Oh no! Every time I saw him, I was like, again, I was just like, man. At first, I was like, wait, why is Wong in this movie? And then, sure enough, I was like, oh no, that's just you. That's just you looking through sleepy eyes. Stop it.
Yeah, no, I remember I was about to say, I was like, huh? Yeah, I thought the same thing the first time I saw this. I also really like that actor. I found out, by the way. So I really like the actor of for Wong. I think I just really like that guy. I found out because I've seen him in other things, and I'm just like, I just hear his voice, and I'm like, I like you. You're a good. So where were we?
Oh, I don't remember. It's this is.
I know we're not doing my order, but I'm just like, what were we just even saying?
No, we were just talking about Don Lee, and Bill said poor man's Wong, and apparently that set me off something fierce. But
that really did. I'm sorry. I keep triggering you, Ken. I respect you as a friend at this point. I'm sorry if I keep triggering you with my comments.
Oh man, like.
Oh, I do want to bring
up the actor very well. So
there were a couple things I really appreciated. One was the Babylonian Gardens, like seeing that. You see the legendary hanging gardens of Babylonia. I did like that. I like the fact that this is a not time traveling, but like a history story of these characters that have, existed for all time and are just and played such a big part in humans' evolution. And the whole point why they're doing this is for the celestial that, like I like stuff like that. It's just, again, I'm going to unfortunately say it again, like, this should have been a miniseries or a season. Like, there's just too much stuff that you're trying to pack into a movie. And I think Bill said, like, you're trying to make this a summer blockbuster or whatever you're doing, and this is not that type of movie. And the MCU wasn't ready, the comic Ken, for a movie like this. We weren't conditioned for that, especially after, like, trying to think, what is before this? I mean, Shang-Chi, Black Widow, like, this is not the movie to follow them up.
And it's interesting you say it that way too, that we weren't ready. I think the MCU can have stuff like this, but I think it was just bad timing. And I guess as we're talking it through, I'm kind of agreeing more with Ken on that. Maybe this is just really was bad timing to follow up Shang-Chi with Turtles. Like a Shang-Chi, which is a very traditional, fun, kind of dumb, but very entertaining with very charismatic characters and people. There is something to be said for charisma in acting, and it sounds kind of crappy, but especially in this kind of format, you need something to pull an audience member along while you're building up the characters through their dialogue and through what they do, which in this movie is a lot of staring and sitting and leaning and standing and sitting and leaning and muttering. And so when you don't have that charisma of, a Shang-Chi or something like that, you lose, or an Awkwafina, as whether you take your pick on Awkwafina if you like her or not. I like Awkwafina a lot, but she's getting Jack Blacked, where she's basically in everything, and it's too much Awkwafina now.
I haven't seen her since Shang-Chi, but then again, I don't watch.
I feel like she shows up in everything, which I do like her a lot, but again, she's getting Jack Blacked. So anyway, I just don't think. I think the MCU can have this in it, but this was wrong place, wrong time, and I think the execution just wasn't there. Ken, I'm going to say it. If you want a movie, fair listeners, if you want to listen to a movie about an alien species or a robot or a non-human entity learn to be human, how about we watch Under the Skin again? I don't know. Under the Skin did everything this movie was trying to do, I guess thematically, with like 3 lines of dialogue and 1.5 hours, and it's beautiful and wonderful.
Can I watch Blade Runner or Bicentennial Man?
Or watch Blade Runner. That's another one. Same thing. But why does Blade Runner work? And Blade Runner has tons of emotion. And Blade Runner's, again, trying to compare this to, again, another movie that could say is perfect.
With both those movies, one character you're focusing on.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And that's the key. And that is the key here. There's too many characters to invest in.
Yeah, it's like you're focusing on one character in the span of days. Same with Under the Skin. You're focusing on one character, essentially, and it's a span of days. To try to make a movie like this, I think you need to be able to center the cast throughout history. And they did. And I think I like the way they did it. Like, I
mean, they tried to with Cersei. Cersei is the main character in this.
Right. Yeah. Like, we are most invested in her emotional journey, which is because of love. We have to be. Like, this movie doesn't work if there's not a love story. And I think the main love story here is between the Eternals and humanity, but also, Phastos.
I think there's another way this movie could have worked, and it's if they had kept it exclusively in the past and used the Eternal Deviant fighting as a basis for all the different myths that exist in the world. Because even in the Babylon section, Gilgamesh explicitly kills a deviant with bull horns, and I'm just now realizing that's the bull of heaven.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Okay, I agree with Phoebe. Had they just set this whole movie in the past, and then the sequel could be the stuff with humanity and the Celestials, and I think that would have been a better movie, because one of the other issues with the movie we haven't talked about, this movie technically has 3 villains throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this, but when you put 3 villains in a movie, your movie usually sucks. Batman and Robin.
Just keep it to 2, bitch.
God. Batman and Robin, Spider-Man 3, it doesn't, even if you know the characters, it doesn't work. You just can't do that. I think Amazing Spider-Man 2, does it have 3 villains too? Can't even remember that movie.
Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire?
No, the second Andrew Garfield movie.
Oh, God.
I know it's Electro.
Rhino, Electro, and is Norman Osborn a villain in that movie?
I don't even remember that movie, unfortunately. But
yeah, no, they do have a Green Goblin in there. It's Dane DeHaan.
Oh,
Was
yeah.
he in the first
Oh,
one?
right.
No, he's not in the first movie.
Okay. But,
Too much.
Okay, let's talk about the 3 quote-unquote villains.
Yeah, right. You have to put the quote unquote on that one. Yeah.
You do.
Because I don't think this movie has any villains. I think
No.
there's antagonists,
Yeah.
but I don't think there's any villains here.
Arish or however you pronounce his name.
Arshem doesn't do shit.
No, he's the plot device of saying, here, go to this planet, make humans survive, and then we're going to harvest them.
To create billions more lives. This is basic utilitarian as taught by Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
I quote that more often than I should in real life and use that to judge what I do sometimes. So I actually have. Multiple times in my life, I have used that and said that and then make the decision based on that. So, yes.
Yeah, so how villain?
God damn it.
2 villains. 2 villains. All right, give me another one.
But they're not, okay, you have the deviant guy that that sucks up the Eternal.
Oh, I'm sorry. The person who finds their own life during evolution like humans did, that's a bad thing? That's a villain?
Yeah, no, but he's meant to be a villain in this movie. But I mean, maybe antagonist is the correct.
Antagonist, yeah.
Yeah, no, antagonist is better.
Icarus.
Like, okay.
It's really the only one.
And what does Icarus really do?
He's just following programming.
He's following. Okay, you know what? There's a whole term for people that were just following orders that we don't need to get into here. But, like, is he that bad, though? He just wants to see Arishem's mission accomplished. And we've just established that that's not the worst thing in the world. So,
no,
like,
I agree with you. I agree there's no strong antagonist, but I think as far as a central friction point for the plot to work against, there really isn't one. And that's, I think, the when we talk about a villain or antagonist, because you're right, because everyone in this movie is either evolving past their programming or just doing what they think is morally best. And just because someone thinks something is morally best does not mean it's the right thing. Great fiction is about moral choices and people with strong moralities who are doing things, thinking that the best villains or antagonists are those who think they're doing the right thing, but they're doing it in all the wrong ways. They're actually doing the wrong thing. That's
Ozymandias from Watchmen.
And I've never seen Watchmen. I don't know Watchmen, so I skipped that one.
Never seen it either, but I read the book and I know what he's talking about.
So I think that's fair, but I also think as a narrative piece to again pull us through a movie, you need that point of friction, right?
Yeah.
And again, in this movie, which is really trying to be this character study and this love story, which it is, it's not enough time spent. Again, we keep going back to the time spent. This movie is so long, but it needs to be so much longer. This movie needs to be more efficient. I think that's the what I'll land on. this needs to be a more efficient movie. This needs to be paced better. And I think I don't know if you could have, but that's not the kind of movie I don't think the director wanted to make. She did not want to make an efficient movie. She wants to make a movie where we really examine these people and examine these I guess created beings that are now learning what it is to be human through being around humans and the magic that is humanity. There's so much good stuff here. There's lots of great stuff, but boy, oh boy, is the package just really tough to get through.
Because it feels bloated. The movie just feels, and Ken brings up a great point. Like, really, you're right. They aren't really villains, and I think that's another issue of the movie is that you don't have all the great MCU movies that everybody loves and everybody talks about have a villain, and that's why that movie stands out. And this movie was setting up a villain. Like, okay, Arsham does do one bad thing. He takes away the Eternals at the end of the movie because they didn't do what he said. So
he takes them away to convince them that Earth should be saved.
Ah, damn it. You're right. Yeah. There's no, that's, okay, that is an issue. You need to have a villain, you need to have someone to root against, and it doesn't work in this movie, because you're right, with the Deviants, it's just, they're evolving and trying to survive, and they're going after the things that are killing them, which makes sense. I mean, look at humans, look what we've done throughout life. It makes sense, and damn it, yeah, and you don't even know the name of that deviant, by the way. His name is Crow. I know only because a YouTube video told me. And they even said I had to Google it.
After he evolves, he takes the name.
Okay, you don't see it.
Mention that.
Oh, they do mention it. Oh, never mind then.
I don't remember. I don't remember catching it. Yeah, I don't think I
literally blink and you miss it.
Yeah. Okay, but again, you need you need that, and that's such an issue with this movie.
And I will agree with that. I think this movie does suffer for the lack of having a big actual bad, but I also think it's not that kind of movie.
No, it's not.
Phil keeps saying, it's not that kind of movie.
I mean, I don't hate this movie. I watched it twice. I enjoyed it both times. I mean, I will say lots of different comments about this movie as I have been, but I did enjoy this movie both times over the course of three to four sittings watching it. I have never watched this movie all at once, and I never think I will.
Well, I see. That's the thing. I cannot watch a movie in pieces. I have to watch it in one go. I can't. So, which is why I don't watch as many movies as I'd like to, because I need to invest that time. And so for me, I think if I watch this in pieces, I don't know, you would. A series you'd watch in pieces. That's fine. Again, not to raise that dead horse, but yeah, this is not the kind of movie. And again, I'm really having this conflict of fandom because I love movie, and we all love movies, right? We all love, and I love movies that are. I've sat through some movies that are again 3 lines of dialogue and not much going on, and been entranced and just been like, oh, this is beautiful and wonderful. I really love this. And for me to say I want a big bad guy with a space laser seems contradictory to everything I've said in 3-4 years of doing MCU movies where I complain about the giant laser in the sky. But at the end of the day, you do need a friction point. And I think this was not the medium for this movie. And I just don't think, I just don't think this is not the medium for this. But again, it makes me sound like a bit of a rube. I just want the big explosions, and I want to see Shang-Chi cut a bus in half, and I want to see, and there's nothing wrong with that. And let me back up and get a little bit too. There's nothing wrong with that because that stuff's awesome and it's cool and it's fun. And movies are allowed to be awesome, cool, and fun. And that is a good thing. That is a net value in the world. So I don't want to sound like everything has to be a character drama. But this mixture. It's oil and vinegar. It's just not mixing, and the result is something that's really, really hard to sit through 2.5 hours. I've not felt the time of a movie like this in quite some time. It's been a while since I've actually felt the weight of a time of the movie.
No, that's completely fair too. And we watch a lot of movies for this show since we've been doing this, and this was one where, it really feels it.
I honestly think this movie's biggest problem is the name Marvel.
Yeah.
And there are certain expectations that come with Marvel at the time that this is released. We didn't have the series yet, the good series. Well, we did have the Netflix series, but that was its own thing.
We had WandaVision, I think, at this point already.
Not the time it was being made.
Oh, good. Never mind. You're right. Yes, you're right.
This movie had a $200 million budget.
Holy crap.
This
Where?
is not a $200 million budget.
No. Who laundered that money, and who should the IRS be calling? That's where is that money on the screen?
Angelina and Kit Harington is where it went.
It can't be worth that much. Or is that this was Game of Thrones, huh?
Yeah, I was gonna say Kit Harington would absolutely be that.
Fair. I never saw Game of Thrones. I don't know the Game of Thrones references. I don't have HBO. I never had it, so I just missed out on the whole thing. It's funny though, because when we say that the biggest problem with this movie is the word Marvel, I don't fully agree though. I think, because I'm also, as I was watching it yesterday, I was thinking, all right, what if this was just in my indie cinema? Like, what if this showed up at the Alamo Draft House and I went to see it at 2:30 in the afternoon and we shaved the word Marvel off of it? Because other than the word Marvel, and some references to Thanos and some references to the Snap, there's really not a lot of Marvel in this. Like, it doesn't reach out. It's very self-contained. What if it was just Eternals, the movie, without Marvel? And I still think that in this genre, that in this package, it doesn't work. And I don't go to Jimmy John's for fine dining. If I go to Jimmy John's, I'm expecting a chicken Caesar wrap fast, freakishly fast. I'm going to sit to eat said wrap, be over full, and then go home and then drive away. I don't expect fine dining. So
Wait,
if I
have chicken?
Yeah. Oh, their chicken Caesar wrap is actually delicious. It's actually the only thing I eat there. It's really good. I'm a bit of a sandwich snob. I grew up in New Jersey, and I am a sandwich snob. I rest of Jimmy John's is terrible, but they do make a good chicken Caesar wrap. Anyway, so I'm just saying, it's like I don't go there. If I went there and the chicken Caesar wrap was $15 and required me to put on a tux and sit down with a waiter, I would be like, what? The tux and the waiter and that experience is great. I love fine dining. That's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to indulge in the taste profiles of your crushed up croutons and your Caesar dressing. I'm here to ingest food and leave. And I appreciate them going further and trying to give me more. That's right idea, wrong time. You know what I mean? I guess that's a big part of it. Maybe. I don't know. It makes me sound like a bad film fan, but I think it's just. I think there's time and place, but I will stand by that this movie has serious structural issues with pacing. That it is not efficient in its storytelling, and it goes on and on and on and on. And I think these long periods of, hey, we're going to sit here in dusk, and because it's beautiful and dusk is beautiful, and not see characters standing around mopingly, that is a structural problem divorced of the Marvelness of it. There are structural problems with this that need to be addressed that make it not enjoyable to watch as a movie.
Wonder how much was the studio got involved in this movie and changed what her vision was.
I wonder if the studio went in and said, "Hey, where are the fighting monsters? We need these things to fight monsters. What'd you do with this $200 million? Because there's no fighting monsters."
Kevin Feige just snipped his own parts going, so how many characters can you set up?
I mean, I don't mind after. We'll get there shortly, but I don't mind after credit scenes where you introduce things. I don't mind stuff like that because that's the point of stingers. Like, you can introduce other stuff later. That's completely fine. I mean, this movie really, besides Kit Harington, it doesn't introduce anything else in the movie, right?
I mean, it does.
Oh, it does a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it sets up the whole Eternals thing. It sets up Celestials.
I meant like stuff that wasn't besides the Internals. But yeah, no, I mean, it's that.
It is to Mike's point. This isn't a self-contained movie, though. You don't need to have seen any previous Marvel product.
That wasn't Mike's point, but I appreciate it. I don't know what my point was, to be fair. So
fair.
See, I have massive issues with that mid-credit scene.
Interesting.
We'll get there.
Okay.
I like it, but we'll get. It's also irrelevant now, but we will get there.
We will get there.
But yeah, I think, just trying to think of some of the other aspects of the movie. I do think the music soundtrack is great. It's got a great soundtrack. The music's great. Kind of stays out of the way a little bit, but I thought it was fine.
Another small complaint or something that I just kind of thought was how long it takes them to introduce a couple of the Eternals. Like, I had the movie playing in the background when we're talking. I am an hour into this movie, and they still haven't met up with Makari, Druid, or Phantos yet. Like, you should have your full team together within an hour of a movie for what you're like. That's just
one of those names wasn't even familiar to me, and then I'm like, oh wait, that's the speedster.
And that's a problem. That's a problem.
Oh, and there's also multiple DC references in this movie.
Yes,
and
there really are.
Really like it because I like it in the DC universe. I like it when it fits. Like I like it when you're watching some movie that's based in real life. You know, so like yeah, they know who these characters are. Okay, fine. But in something like this, DC shouldn't exist.
No, it should not. I had the exact same thought when the little boy, who was adorable, by the way, the little boy's like, "Hey, it's Superman," and then they also reference Batman, I think too. And I'm like, don't bring up DC. Don't bring up DC Comics. Like this is like talking about a Red Sox great if you're in Yankee Stadium. No one does that. We don't do that.
When did the WB problem start up? When did the WB tax write-off stuff start going off? Because they own DC, and now I'm just wondering, is that where the $200 million went to buy the rights to using some names?
Maybe that could be. It's a very cute line when an adorable child does it, but it's also like, wait, why are we bringing up DC characters?
I mean,
like that was a big dissonance from.
Why didn't they reference somebody else from Marvel that looks like
8,000 heroes in Marvel or villains or characters?
Hey, we want to introduce mutants into this universe. Maybe reference Quicksilver or the Sentry instead of Superman, or
Quicksilver's dead.
Yeah, but just reference somebody that we've already seen that it could have been a reference to, like with Icarus. Like he's just like, now I'm blanking on he's like Thor. Like that would have been cute. It would have worked. You know, and the Batman one is just like the Alfred thing with a servant. But he could have said, "Well, you're like Jarvis." Would have been funnier. Like, why is it DC references? It just like I do love stuff like that. Like when we were watching Batman and Robin, and he makes a comment about Superman. Like I'm like, okay, that's cool, but it bothered me in this because now I'm like, well, I mean, there's DC comics in this world, so they're referencing like it's just I don't know. I'm nitpicking the nitpick, but it did upset me that you didn't just reference characters in your own world that the characters would have seen the other characters.
I think it's a valid criticism. It's a dissonance that's not needed. It's an unnecessary dissonance. It's yeah. I had the exact reaction. It's like, why are we talking about Batman?
It feels like a movie
unnecessary.
Those lines to me make it feel like it's a movie that's taking place in our world, not in the MCU universe, but in our world, and this is what's happening. Like, you know, we watch tons of movies like that throughout this show, and that's what it made me feel like.
I'm as we were talking, I'm writing my thesis for the end, so I have my summation. But yes, I agree.
Probably should have wrote my thing down too.
We also probably should have.
I'm gonna
synopsis.
There's a lot. Yeah, we didn't.
I forgot it.
We didn't do the.
Ken, did you write a plot outline for this?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
I mean,
to be fair, the plot in this movie doesn't matter anyway. But if you wrote it, why don't you read it? Just because we danced around the plot anyway.
I mean, basically, all I was gonna do is, turn my video on, hold my hands in front of my face, and say "ancient aliens."
Yeah.
Because, I mean, ultimately, that's what this movie is. There's a race of ancient aliens that help mankind progress, and then a catastrophe awakens them to a new problem that they have to fight with love.
And a unimind.
And God gets really angry at them.
Yes.
I also like the idea that they don't want to kill the Celestial. They just want to originally just want to put them to sleep because they just want to figure out a plan. And when they said put them to sleep, I was just thinking of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 with Ego. But I still like that idea that that's what they're trying to do. They don't want to kill him, which makes sense because they don't really want to disobey what their job is. They just want to find a loophole. Maybe that is disobeying, but still, I liked it.
Doesn't Tiamat even go with it?
What do you mean? You don't have a choice.
No, I thought Tiamat at one point actually spoke to somebody. And
no, he just wakes up, sticks a hand out the ground, and turns to stone.
Okay.
Arsham talked, but yeah. I mean, I also didn't mind like the background when they talk about how when Arsham's like, oh, the Celestials come and they make universes and they destroy it. Like, I like that world building because you're getting ready for stuff in the MCU that I really want.
And you're getting. I'm sorry, go ahead, Pete.
I was gonna say, we start this movie with a text scroll of all things.
I know.
Doesn't
work.
Oh
God, it was so slow.
Oh, that's so slow.
And did it even have good music to make you interested? Like Star Wars was?
Nope.
Just silence.
Just silence and
you
a text scroll.
You gotta have a good score to make that work, like Star Wars. Like I know Phoebe referenced Blade Runner, which I have no memory of. Like, you need something to pull you in when you're having text. You can't just have text.
We don't even know how much of that opening scroll is a lie, because at a point the scroll says that the deviants appear from the darkness or something. But then we later learn that the Celestials made the deviant.
Right. So
what we do learn, which will be part of a thing later, is that supposedly Arashem, who is the prime Celestial and was the first one, existed even before the, and I quote, 6 singularities.
Right. The Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
Oh! Also, fun fact, I think Eternals 2 was supposed to come out originally this year. Because Marvel Snap has an Eternals season next month. Or June? Yeah, when you're hearing this around the time. And that made me laugh, because they usually I'm like, why are you doing an Eternals season? I'm like, oh, I bet the movie is supposed to come out. Because they just had a Thunderbolt season, a couple like this season that we're in right now, and I'm like, well, that's strange. Like, and that I think that was the original release date. Yeah, so that made me laugh when I saw the Eternal season is coming up later this year, and I'm like, that's funny.
Yeah, well, between the MCU fatigue and I saw an actor doing some
the strike is
very,
why
very
the
stupid things.
Movie got postponed too.
Yeah,
that's a big part of it, the actor and writer strike, but. Also, MCU needed to take a break, because one reason why we stopped doing the MCU thing is I caught up, and they're like, oh, you're caught up, Mike, why don't we release 3 movies, 4 series a year? What do you think? And I'm like, ah! And then I just stopped.
Yeah.
So.
Who's ready for Kane?
Kang is being rewritten and never going to happen, so yay.
Yep.
I just don't like Kang in general. Like, I like that character, but I don't like the way what they've done to the character in MCU. That's not what I wanted.
Just give us Beyonder at this point.
That's kind of what it is. But I mean, again, this movie needed a villain. It needed somebody to root against, because the deviants are just creatures that were built that are predators doing their job. Like, you can't be mad at the wolf for killing a deer. You can't be mad. People do, but you can't be mad at the wild cat killing a mouse or killing a bird, because it's doing what it has to do to survive. That's nature. That's life. So
why couldn't Arashem just destroy the deviants?
Because he'd rather make dolls. What did you say, Cam?
There's too many of them at this point. They're not just on Earth. They're everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, he made a lot of them.
Every planet that's been seeded with a Celestial hosts deviants.
Right. And I think there's also a bit of pride there, too. Like, he admits they got out of control, but I think he doesn't want to admit that he didn't want to destroy the creation, I think. I think there's a piece of that, too.
A vain god. God.
Yes. Yeah, God,
what's
yeah, basically.
Like?
But yeah, that's kind of my feeling on it. Yeah, I like a lot of that story stuff. I like a lot of that world building. The idea that these Celestials have been inserted throughout history, and all of our greatest myths were actually real, and they were part of this master scheme. But when you get it in this one giant data dump of 3 minutes of movie, again, it just felt like it was okay. Here's the plot. Here's why you're here. But movie, I've been here for an hour and a half already. Here's why you're here. Now stay with me. Is any of this going to matter? Not really. Not right now. For later, it'll matter. It's just it's just too much too scattered.
Because an hour into the movie, there's an hour and a half left, and that's just when they're at the table meeting Athena and Gilgamesh and telling them about the world ending.
Yeah, it's an hour and a half in, and boys, it feel like you've been through the ringer at that point. Yeah.
You needed multiple movies, again, the show, to go back there. Because you're the reason Avengers worked, because you already were introduced to most of the characters, so you could just kind of get to the fun stuff.
All right. I'm going to say something super inflammatory right now, and I don't care. I've been on this podcast enough. I don't think you're going to get the kickback that you would have if I would have said this early. The Avengers is fluff. That's why it works.
No, it is. I won't disagree with that.
You don't have that level of emotional investment that this movie is trying to cultivate. Yeah.
No, I mean, there are a lot of cool things in this movie, and I wanted to like it more. Again, I don't hate this movie. It's just kind of boring. Like, Under the Skin, I really hated that movie. I don't hate this movie, but I was bored during both of them.
It's unfortunate that you're wrong about Under the Skin.
I am wrong. Won't disagree.
So good.
I wanted to enjoy that movie. I just didn't, but.
Do we have anything else? We want to move on to the end. Yeah, go for it.
We're getting there, but I want to mention the stuff with Druid. We haven't because Druid's power in this is to control humans' minds. And throughout the movie, they do, when they have like the flashback, they show scenes where he gets upset how humans are living. He gets upset of what they're doing. And you do have some cool scenes of like how he takes over people.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really his, like each one of the Eternal has like their own power. Kingo can shoot. Sprite can make illusions. Makari is the Flash. Icarus is Superman because stupidity.
Cersei is Zatanna.
Yeah. Well, Cersei can turn things into different things.
Yeah. But like she's the magic.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure all of these characters have DC counterparts.
Well, it was made by Jack Kirby too, originally.
So yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean they all a lot of characters do. Gilgamesh is just the powerful guy who fights with his fists. Phantos can build stuff, machines. I mean, like
It's terrific.
We already
one of
have
the
an
really
Iron Man.
really great one of the really great scenes in this is when they talk about Phantos and how he left humanity. Like they haven't heard from him from the 1940s because when the Hiroshima bomb goes off, he's so upset at what humans have done. And that is a good scene to incorporate something from modern day history for us into this to again an event that really changes history and sets the course of where we're going ever since that day. So I mean, there were really cool things. Like, that was cool to see. I liked Phantos. I would have rather had more Phantos and less Kingo. Another thing we didn't talk about is Icarus kills Ajax at one point. Well, technically kills her. He throws her into the ring with the Deviants to die. Like, he essentially killed her. Because she doesn't have power. She heals and she leads. She can't fight.
She's not very adept at that. She's the healer in the party, so she's your healer, which is fine. Yeah, the whole turn with Ajax again. I don't mind that. Again, it has almost like this kind of Shakespearean backstabbing towards the end, especially when Sprite gives Xerxes. I'm sorry, I'm bad with the names. Gives it the backstab with the knife and all that. So that's pretty neat. I don't know where I was going with this, so I'm just gonna stop talking. Let somebody else pick up the pieces of my fractured conversation, please.
Look, it was good to see Chekhov's blade make its final third act appearance.
Okay, there you go. That's
Athena's the warrior. One of the warriors, or Athena, as they call her.
Yeah, Athena. Drop the A.
But they do make a reference to that. But
very funny.
I mean, there are good moments in this movie, and there's good character building stuff. There's things where I did, I felt something, and I was entertained, even though I made comments. But like, there were times where I'm like, this is cool. Like when the town where Druid's at, where he controls all these people off and on. Like when the demons attack and he has everyone just shooting their guns at the same time and just controls everybody and just lets them get murdered. Like, because he doesn't move them or doesn't let them have the freedom to run for their lives. Like, there are some cool pieces. Druid's a villain, in my opinion. But there are some cool pieces in this movie. It's just it's too much for a movie.
This movie's greatest sin is wasting Barry Keoghan.
Yes.
He also doesn't show up in the movie until over an hour through.
Yeah. Like, before I watched this again, I was like, man, who could Barry Keoghan play in the MCU? I forgot he was here. And that's a bad look because Barry Keoghan's good in everything he's done.
Everything he's good. He's so good in everything I've seen him in. He's good. He's extraordinarily good, and he's a very nuanced actor. Which again, he's perfect for this movie, for this story. I think. Yeah, he's perfect for this. He's got nuance. He has all the little things he does in his acting, just like the little facial expressions. He's so intentional in the way he delivers a character. I love him as an actor. But you're right. I completely forgot he was there. It's like, oh damn, that's the killing of the sacred deer guy. He's here. Yeah. Oh man.
Good old Saltburn shows up.
Hey, isn't he gonna be Joker in the Batman?
Yeah, he was the Joker in the Batman.
In that cutscene, right?
Yep.
Oh really? I've not seen the Batman yet, so
I need to redo it on this show actually because
you guys keep saying
I did it once and I don't like the way I was, and I think I need to revisit that movie. So I want to recover that.
It's great.
I like Robert Pattinson a lot, and people I trust have said it's quality. Turn off all the lights, big old screen.
See, I didn't do that either. So
that's how I watch. Yes, I don't. I know how sometimes you watch these movies while running errands in Home Depot or like doing your shopping.
It was Walmart, sir, for Sin City. Walmart.
Hashtag called out.
When I watched this movie, I watched during my lunch break because I knew my wife had no interest in watching this movie, so I wasn't going to put it on because she would have just left. Unlike your wife, who actually stuck around and cursed
She was
me
so
instead.
annoyed. She was so annoyed.
But-
So funny.
Yeah, Tiff wouldn't have. Tiff would not have watched this with me. So I watched it during my lunch breaks, but we also have a big window area, and I don't have curtains. I have like little curtains, but not enough to block out the sun. So when this movie went dark, I couldn't see shit. So I again didn't watch this movie right.
All right. Let's make an announcement for a GoFundMe to buy Mike some blackout curtains.
Yes.
I had blackout curtains, but even if I had them, my wife wouldn't want them on that door, on that window. So it doesn't. And it's her call. So I won't win that one, or will I try? I try. Actually, I have tried. I said, why don't we put some of our curtains on here? She's like, no. And I'm like, and I tried again, and she said no, and then it just left that way. So yeah, it doesn't have curtains, that spot. But it's a little curtain. It's for our screen window type thing. But no, trying to think. So the other thing we haven't mentioned about this movie yet, we haven't talked about the credit scene, which I think we're just about to go to.
The fact that Sprite is now a people.
Yeah, Cersei turned Sprite into a human being, because Sprite didn't age because she was a child, which is never explained why Arsham did that, but I know it's explained in the comics, but not in this movie.
Well, okay, so this is basically Kirsten Dunst from Interview with the Vampire all over again.
Yes, I was thinking the same thing.
My wife said the same thing.
I ain't mad. Because, I think that plotline works. I could see that being a justification to turn your back on your family. I think that works.
Does she get A's or F's in history class?
100% F's.
Yeah, gotta be.
100%, because she was like, no, that's not how it went. Well, that's what the book says. That's not what happened.
She refuses to sign up for our fake history. Totally. She totally fails it.
Can
I
you
love it.
prove it? I mean, Wakanda exists, and the Avengers, and what
Probably could, to be honest. So
prove to me that it didn't happen with all this other madness.
I will say, watching this movie does make me want to read one Eternals comic, which is the one by Neil Gaiman in 2006.
Oh crap! Did he do one?
He did, yes.
God.
It's only 7 issues, but it's the one thing I want to read of Eternals and then put on the show, maybe, because I like Neil Gaiman a lot. So we'll see.
Neil Gaiman's amazing.
Yeah, I really should finish something else to the right of me. That involves sand.
Do it.
But you should.
Oh, it's going to happen, Ken.
You have
I've been about to message you about that.
Maybe 4 volumes left.
We have 2 of the main series.
Yep. We just have the kindly ones in the wake left.
Oh, so you're not doing Endless Nights as number 11?
We've probably, I don't know. That's Ken's call.
It's your podcast.
I know, but you're Sandman more than me. I mean, I'll read any Sandman by Neil Gaiman. I love it. So that's another conversation for the podcast. But,
Hey, you're welcome for the behind-the-scenes look at games my mom found.
Hey, people do enjoy that, I'm pretty sure. I know I do when I hear random stuff. Oh, and then Icarus fights the Eternals in the end of the movie because he doesn't agree with their decisions. He flies the sun to kill himself because he's an idiot. They save the world, and then Cersei, Phantos, Kingo are taken by Arsham because they stayed on Earth. While Athena, I can't even remember the people. Sprite stays on the Earth but turns into human, so she's not grabbed. Who the fuck goes Athena? Makari and Druid?
And, Makari, Droog,
Kingo still stays.
Athena.
It's just those 3. And then they're on the ship because they're looking for more Eternals to stop what's happening, to tell them that it's all a trick. But yeah, that's how the movie ends. And then Cersei's talking with Black Knight, who isn't Black Knight yet, but Kit Harington, where you see him again in this movie for no reason. And then she's taken away. And other people see the giant face in the sky and get upset and run and ask, are you okay, Timmy? And I'm like, okay, this should be maybe referenced again. A giant celestial just came here and talked to people on Earth and took people away. Maybe this should be referenced to,
Tuesday.
That's fine.
I know. But, and then the movie ends, and then it gets us to the 2 after credit scenes. Phoebe, since you've been complaining about the first one, why don't you tell us what it is?
Oh my god. Oh my god. How long am I allowed?
We got time still.
We got time.
All right. So this scene needed to be cut. The scene is infuriating for multiple different things.
Why?
So we get to the Eternals on the ship, and then a character named Pip the Troll shows up, and it's just like, yes, here we are, the Eternal of Love, the brother of the Mad Titan Thanos, Eros. And the reason why that drives me so insane is because in the comics, it's not ever brought up in the MCU, but in the comics, it's revealed that Thanos, the reason why he has purple skin and everything, is because he is a half Eternal, half deviant hybrid.
What?
Yeah, he has deviant in him, and he is an Eternal, which means this one scene both undermines this movie because, hey, they should have helped fight Thanos. They fight deviants.
But they didn't know that.
But
they're just doing what they're told.
Here's the other thing. Here's my big problem. It undermines 10 plus years worth of cinema. Because throughout the entire first saga of the MCU, Thanos' whole deal is I'm going to cut the population of the universe in half. Why? Because there's an overpopulation problem. There's not enough resources. There's too much war going on. I'm going to be the hero. And now that we know, because of comics, that Eros is his brother, and therefore we can make the connection that Thanos is an Eternal even in the MCU, the question then becomes, is that actually the reason why he did it? Or is it because he's trying to spare all these planets from being blown up from the inside and all of these Celestials from being born? Because the singularities, the Infinity Stones come after Arashep, which means, kind of like in comics, but they don't say in the movie, the stones don't work on Celestials at all. So if you're going to stop the Celestials from doing crazy shit like seeding planets, maybe slow down the process by getting rid of half the energy that they used to be born with.
Wow.
So okay, maybe they were going to touch on that in later on, and that would have worked too. Because I mean, unfortunately, then it would be a lot more Thanos is right, and then it would actually be like, okay, you know, except not for the reason why people say Thanos is right.
That's why I say Thanos is right. He's the reason why half these Celestials don't exist yet.
Yes, and that. But the main reason why people think Thanos was right had to do with more insulting that I'm not going to go into. But
still, it's something that they'll probably never touch upon again, and it sucks because it's just this one scene sets up so much. You can connect the dots.
Well, we were going to get more. We were going to get
infuriating.
Going to get Eternals 2 for sure. I mean, you know, introduce Firefox. We will never. Is it Firefox? No, Star Fox is his name.
I was about to say the internet thing.
Yeah, the barrel roll.
But yeah, no, he's named Star Fox, right? Isn't that his name of the character?
Star Fox, yeah.
Okay.
Do a barrel roll?
No, not that guy. The Eros. That when he shows up, I'm pretty sure his name is Star Fox.
Yeah, his name is Star Fox. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god.
He's a forgotten character that we will never see again, and I was surprised we even seen him because his power is a little problematic if you were to go into it.
Yeah, he's an old school Disney prince.
Yes.
And I think that's fun. And who better than Harry Styles to do it?
That guy can act. I've heard.
It's perfect casting. The casting is great, and it's funny because I watched it and I was watching like, is that Harry Styles? And my wife looks at me and goes,
32. I don't know who the hell you're talking about.
He's from One Direction.
That still means nothing.
He also dated Taylor Swift at one point, which I know this unfortunately, and but he's in a movie with Florence Pugh that I do want to see because Florence, but I have not.
He was one of the members of One Direction. He's now probably one of the biggest pop stars in the world. His last album, I guess, was it his last album or 2 albums ago, won a bunch of Grammys, and yeah, he's probably one of the most, I don't know, famous people in the world.
Yeah, and modern music, so
that's fair. That's fine. You don't have to have a healthy life. You don't need to know who Harry Styles is. It's fine. I don't know much about Harry Styles other than he's from One Direction and that he's very, very handsome. And
yeah, I liked it. I mean, I think he makes a good Star Fox because of what Star Fox's powers are, and having a charming guy works for that. So, I'm happy. Like, I want Eternals too. Like, I was kind of sad when I heard they canceled. I wasn't surprised. I was kind of sad. I'm like, you set up a lot of good stuff, and as long as you just took your movie and condensed the plot and what you're going for, you could have a very good movie. You know, but again, I mean, the movie didn't. I mean, it bombed to Marvel. I mean, it made $400,000 on 200. It made $400 million on $200 million budget, but again, if you don't make triple your budget, you failed. And
let's remember, this is still post-pandemic. This is a year after the pandemic. People are still not going to the theater.
Yeah, but they
lots
didn't,
of options.
They didn't care. Like, Disney was just so much like, we want the pandemic over with. We want our movies. Well, every movie company was like that. And it's like, no, things are different now, and you need to understand that. You need to react to it, not just throw fits and raise all your prices to make up for it. So, but it's just, yeah. And then I like this credit scene. Ken, do you have any comments about it?
I don't have the issue with it. Like, if it gives Thanos additional justification, fine, but I don't think it does. just because he was half eternal, half deviant, doesn't mean he was anything more than a selfish asshole.
Like, if Eternals 2 had happened and this was touched upon, that would have been awesome.
But we'll never know because everybody hated it and didn't show up and then complained about all the Marvel movies being the same. So
it's all our fault.
Yeah,
It's all our...
yeah.
I'm sorry if sorry for being a basic bitch and ruining this for everybody.
I take blame for it too. I didn't see it in the theater.
I wanted to.
Hey, I saw it in the theaters. I was hungry for theater movies. I love going to the movies. It's this thing I still enjoy. Here in Austin, this is no bearing. We're talking about good movies or much better movies. They're showing all the Star Wars movies in theaters. So they're showing all of them in different points at the Alamo Drafthouse. So over the next few months, you can watch all of them in theaters.
Wait,
so,
define all of them. Like 9 or like 13?
I think they're doing all 13. I know. Well, so the point of it is that I already signed my son up to see the original trilogy in theaters with me. So that's going to be
Lucky bastard.
Special in a theater.
What's that?
The holiday special in a theater.
Holiday special don't exist if you ask Disney or George Lucas.
Oh, knowing the Alamo Drafthouse here in Austin, I guarantee you, I'm sure they will screen it somewhere and just do it and not ask permission, which will be wonderful. But yes. Anyway, so I don't know why I enjoying being to theaters. Like I'm really looking forward to my son experiencing Empire and Return of the Jedi in theaters. That's really special for me. I introduced him to New Hope a few weeks ago. He loved it. He was over the moon. Daddy, I want to see it again. So we're going to see all 3 in theaters over the course of 3 weeks. He doesn't know this yet. And I don't know. I love going to the theater. So for me, I was very happy to be back in theaters to see a movie. Just this wasn't the one.
Not like this.
Not like this, though.
I really want to go see episode 1 in theaters, by the way.
Oh, it's playing right now.
I know. I'm really tempted to take my son to go see it. He's 16. I don't know if he'll care, but I really want to go.
You just said episode.
Yeah.
I like Phantom Menace. I will die on this hill. I like Phantom Menace. I think it's a good movie.
It'll be a lonely death.
I know, but I think it's a good movie.
Might have to watch it again.
It's just me. Trust me. I've had multiple people who tell me I am wrong. We did a whole episode on that movie. Go check it out, Ashley. You can find it on Podbean. But no, I just love that movie. I don't have a good reason why. So, and then I have an issue with the second scene. The second post thing is you have Kit Harington in his office or somewhere, and he's opening up a box, and he's all scared too. And then there's a sword, and the sword glistens. And then you hear, we kind of touched on earlier, then you hear Blade Marshall's voice saying something about the sword. I don't even remember what he says.
All right, so let's get into this one. First off, that sword is the Ebony Blade, the sword of the Black Knight. The Ebony Blade is mentioned by Sprite earlier.
Yes.
In their ship, because Makari's been gathering everything, and Dina's fucking around with Excalibur, which is, in the comics, a sister sword to the Black Sword.
Oh, that's cool. I did not know that.
So that was a fun little how's it going for comic fans. But I'm 100% okay with this. I want Black Knight. I want Black Knight because that eventually can open up my spirits of vengeance. And now, if we get Blade, we get Black Knight. We already got Moon Knight. Technically, we have a couple different Ghost Riders.
Yeah, I thought we were going to get a Midnight Suns.
I think the game probably put the kibosh on that one.
Damn.
Did the game do bad?
Oh, yeah. But
didn't do great.
Modern people are saying it's actually really good and should be given a second chance.
I can't wait to play it. I actually have it in a Humble Bundle. Maybe, I don't know when I'll get to it, but I look forward to playing it.
Just like this movie.
It's just to me weird because Kit Harington, I'm excited for Black Knight. I don't know much about him. I just knew he was I knew he's in the Avengers in the comics. But I'm excited to see him in this. It just kind of upset me that you introduced him in this movie and now we might not. And I know people ask Kit Harington, he just said nothing that I know of. He's nothing that I know. He's I'm not doing any projects right now.
Right.
We'll see if he comes back.
I think he will.
I think he will too. I mean, will Blade even have a release date yet?
Okay.
I think it was this year.
I'll do you one better. Does Blade have a script yet?
No.
Oh no.
I don't think it has a director anymore either.
No, I don't think it
Why?
has a director either.
They exclusively just said, "Oh man, we got Mahershala Ali as Blade. We don't know what Blade is."
Well,
But we have
2025 is the supposable release date right now, November 7th.
Sure,
Yeah.
it is. Does it
It
even
was
have principal
supposed to be
photography?
this year or last year, rather.
God, it just, I mean, I'm glad the MCU is taking a break because it needed to. Like, it needed to take a year off for the most part, but
Hell, you might be seeing the release date for the video game.
no, it's the movie's November 7th, 2025.
Oh, well.
It says screenwriters Michael Starbury, Nick Pizzato, and Michael Green. Yeah. And they have a director, Jan Demange. That's what
That's
what
a
Wiki
different
says.
director.
Okay.
Oh.
Hold on.
So, but again, like, go back to, I mean, as much as I love the MCU, go back to 2 movies a year. Like, 3 was just a little too much. 3 was being greedy, which is not surprising to say. So, and I love these movies, but, oh God, they have 4 movies planned for the MCU in 2025 right now. Captain America, Brave New World, Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, and Blade.
Wait a minute. Captain America got pushed back, but McDonald's is already advertising it with toys.
Well, those contracts are made. Those contracts don't change.
Yeah, you can't stop the retail juggernauts. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
just because you
hilarious.
decided to postpone your movie does not matter to them. They don't. I mean, Marvel Snap's kind of the same way, where like events are planned and the events happen, whether even though like it's just other stuff is not going to stop because you did.
Yeah, McDonald's pretty much just says, sucks to suck. I'm doing what I'm doing.
Hey, at
Case in
least
point.
I don't think McDonald's was in charge of making those movies. You know, so. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, McDonald's didn't put any restrictions on what the next movie could be.
Yeah,
Batman Forever.
Batman and Robin, which will already be out by the time you hear this. So, all right. Anything else you guys want to say about the credit scenes?
I'm good to go. I have my kitten jumped into my lap, so I've been doing kitten snuggles for the last 10 minutes. So I've let you. Yeah, she is. I don't. And but I have a little black Maine Coon. She's a kitten. She's 9 months old. Her name is Poe. And little Poe just jumped up on the desk, walked over, and I had to pick her up and give her snuggles.
Now,
So-
I
So
say we
adorable.
wrap this up. I have to go give my cat insulin.
I have a
Aww.
cat rubbing against my laptop as we speak.
Ken,
So-
where's your cat?
All 4 of my cats are not by me at all.
Are they locked up outside your room that you're in?
No, I have shooed them away from me enough that they know when I have the headphones on and the microphone out, leave Dad alone.
No.
Poe
Mine
could
are-
care less. Poe could care less.
I don't care. Except
less.
when Tiff comes down to record with me, every single animal we have in this house, which is 5, the four of them, except for the blind cat, they all find their way down and climb on the desk, climb on everything, make noise. I'm like, but if I'm down here alone, nothing. But if she's down here with me, we all got to make, and they're not even with her. They're still near me. They're just not making it. They're just not making noise. We're not getting into shit. It's so weird.
This is
Call
the
him
first.
cat chat.
This is the first time, not to get into a cat conversation, but
That's
this
fine.
is the first time I've ever owned a cat, and I never understood how special kitten snuggles are, like cat snuggles. They are wonderful. It is really, really wonderful. I'm a dog person. I grew up with dogs. I love dogs. I never owned a cat, and cats can be bitchy, no question.
Yes.
But boy, oh boy, are cat snuggles special because I feel like I've earned them.
It's not love because like a dog is just unconditional love. Even if you're a piece of shit human being, it's still going to love you because it's just that's in their nature. A cat, no cat, except a cat chooses its owner, but among the humans it can choose from.
Yep.
So, and which upsets my wife because we got a kitten when she was 3 months old. She's now 3 years old, and she chose me, and that has not changed. That is my girl.
Always chosen me.
And also, unfortunately, we also found out it's a good thing I never had a daughter because I am a sucker. When she goes meow, and I'm like, "Baby, are you okay?" She's like, "Stop it, she's fine." She's like meow, and I'm just I have a son, but I'm lucky I didn't have a daughter because I'm a sucker. So that's all right. Let's go to Shell Stacker Box. And Bill, why don't you go first?
Hang on a second. I'm taking a picture of my cat. There we go.
My
All
cat
right.
ran away.
So this is definitely a box for me. Like this is not. I shan't be taking a third journey through the world of Eternals, especially now that I know that they canceled the second one. There is literally now no reason for me to revisit this. This is my main idea of this. I think is that this is a superhero movie made by somebody who probably hates superhero movies. I guarantee you this director is sat in like cocktail parties at some like loft in Brooklyn with a bunch of really hip friends going, another Marvel movie? These things are so fucking lame. I have to. Imagine if you directed one. Oh, wait, if I directed a Marvel movie? Are you kidding me? I would never lower myself to that kind of dreck. Fast forward 5 years, here she is directing the Eternals, and that's still in her brain. She doesn't like superhero movies. She doesn't like this genre. That's fine. But this is a movie made by somebody who doesn't like the genre, and as a result, creates a movie that's not fun to watch because she's trying to do something different with this, which is respectable. And there are good things in it. I think the themes are good. I think the ideas are good. It looks beautiful. It's shot gorgeously. But this is a slog to sit through. And maybe, again, I'm just a basic bitch MCU popcorn muncher. Okay, that's fine. But I don't go to Denny's expecting fine dining. And this is kind of what this is. And the two pieces are not melded together. The high art ideals of the director and the pop art of superhero movies is not mixing well. And even divorced from that, there are structural issues with this. I will stand by the pacing is terrible. I will stand by some of the decisions are not good. Some of the performances aren't good. But at the end of the day, this is a disappointment that I shan't be seeing again. So a box for me.
Okay. Phoebe.
I'm on the fence about it the more we talk about it. I was originally going to put this in the box, but starting to rewatch yesterday, having this long conversation about the one big problem I had with the movie, which was that mid-credit scene. A lot of it has grown on me, and it would be nice to see these characters again. I'm going to put it on the stipulation of it could end up in the box again if a few years down the line we don't get anything from this. Because if they say, oh, these characters will show up again, or some type of connection will be made sometime in the future, and we're still doing this, I would go back to check it out again.
Okay. And I'll go next. I'm going to put this in the stack also. I had fun. I mean, the movie is too long, but if you watch it over the course of like 3 days, it's not so bad. And I kind of like it. You know, it's like the same thing when it comes to Zack Snyder's Justice League when they cut it into 4 parts. And I really actually love that 4-hour cut of that movie. And I hate the 2-hour cut of Justice League by Joss Whedon. So, like, if this would have just been a little bit longer, cut into parts, and put on a streaming service and not. But it's going to stack because I still enjoy this movie. I don't hate it. It doesn't deserve all the hate it gets. But I don't love it. But I do hope I want a sequel because I think there's so much stuff left to do. You just need to do it differently. And Ken, what about you?
Shelf.
All right.
You're just trying to be different. Come on.
I'm not trying to be different. Everything that I've said during this podcast, I absolutely believe with my whole heart. This was a movie that tried something different that I do think ultimately succeeded. It wasn't the movie that people are ready for, but mark my words, 5 years from now, not 5 years from when the movie came out. No, you know what? Let's say I'll put it on the calendar. By the 2030, this movie will have had a complete critical reappraisal and people will appreciate it more.
It's going to become a cult classic.
It's not even going to become a cult classic. They're going to teach us in film school because this movie does a lot of things right. It doesn't do everything right, which is why it's only on like a low shelf, but it's still in my shelf pantheon and I'm not going to apologize for it. I think that people will come around on this movie someday. It's a very touching movie. It is one of the only Marvel movies that has emotion, like a big emotional story at the core. Like you can say, you know, Tony Stark's voyage is emotional, and yeah, it is. But without love, this movie doesn't work. And this movie is just so full of love, and there's an affection amongst the characters. That's why you get Chloe Zhao to do a movie like this, because it's different. It's the antithesis of the Marvel movies that had come before it. And yeah, no, third time, like I said, it all clicked for me. And this movie not only made sense, but I was able to see genius in it. So shelf for me.
Well, I'm really glad that
it just so happens that for Bill, it grew like a tumor.
Yeah, I wish it didn't require. Again, this makes me sound like a crappy film fan, but I just feel like a lot of that stuff that you just mentioned, Ken, is definitely there, but it's hidden below. You got to really mine for it.
Exactly.
And I don't think, unlike other movies where I will watch it a second time for its aesthetic beauty, and I agree, this movie's beautiful, has a lot of good stuff. Unlike an Under the Skin, which I think does require like 2 or 3 viewings to really appreciate.
It does.
I feel no desire to sit through another 2.5 hours of this. Maybe, and that could just be a personal thing that's divorced from the actual movie itself, from the art itself. But you just have to really dive for that stuff. And this is not, again, not to reiterate, in a Marvel movie, it's the wrong restaurant for this kind of meal.
And that's fair. There's nothing wrong with that, because this movie, no matter how you cut it, is part of the MCU. So you're making a sequel essentially to a franchise. I mean, yes, it's Eternal's a new thing, but again, it's still going to fit in the MCU. It's still catering towards a particular audience that's going to go see your movies. I mean, it's fair to say that.
And that's why the Marvel name is this film's biggest villain.
Yes. I mean, there's nothing.
It set up expectations that the film couldn't reach.
Yeah. Plus, Marvel, Phase 4. I mean, I like this movie more than a different movie in Phase 4 that we might get to someday. So, because the next one in order of this, I don't know when it will be. I don't know if it'll be this year. I don't know if it'll be next year. Is Spider-Man: No Way Home, which I really like. I just don't know when it's going to happen, because this was just kind of a thing that I'm just like, fuck it, let's do Eternals.
How many villains are in Spider-Man: No Way Home?
6.
A lot.
Thank you.
But I love that movie.
Wait, 7?
Suck.
To be fair, I've only seen Spider-Man: No Way Home once in theaters. That was it. I've never seen it since, and I loved it in theaters and thought it was just amazing. So
I saw it at a friend. We'll talk about it when we eventually see it. But I saw it at a friend's house with kids running around, so I didn't get a really full good viewing of it. So this will be a first time sit down and watch it. My son and his friend were running around the house while I've been trying to watch these emotional scenes, and
yeah, I just don't know when it's going to happen, because part of me is like, I want Bill to see Amazing Spider-Man 2 first, and I want to cover Amazing Spider-Man 2 before I do No Way Home, because I feel like you need to see some of the dumb shit in that movie to appreciate No Way Home even more.
Yeah, that's probably another thing too, yeah. But anyway, hey,
we'll see.
We'll see.
And Bill, where can people find you at?
A podcast entitled A Gamer Looks at 40. It's a nostalgic look at the history of video games as told through the people and stories that lived it. And it focuses on people's stories. I'm right now in the middle of a Final Fantasy series, and it's going good. I don't know when this is being released, and I honestly just kind of have a loose schedule for Final Fantasy. We will be talking about 4 and 6 a lot. There's going to be at least
end of May.
Yeah, end of May. So we'll probably be starting Final Fantasy 6. There's going to be about a month of Final Fantasy 6. There's 4 episodes right now that are outlined. Because there's just so much, and
if I'm up for it. So
oh yeah, totally. And I still have people to call to interview for it. So anyway, gamerlooksat40.com 40. Check that out if you enjoy retro gaming podcasts, which if you're a fan of this show, you do. So
yes,
please check it out.
And Phoebe,
hi, I'm the Let's Play Princess. You can find me on YouTube and Twitch and Twitter. That thing that still exists.
It's X, madam. How can you keep calling it the wrong
name? Oh my god.
Hey, and I will always make that joke. I just can't believe Twitter's still around. So really
nobody asked, but you can find me here.
Yes. And if you enjoyed this episode, there's over 600 other episodes of this podcast. You can find all the MCU stuff that we did. Maybe it's going to be in the show notes because it's been a while. I'm going to make a list. They'll all be in the show notes. So if you want to find any MCU content, you can go in the show notes, scroll down, click on each episode. Otherwise, in Podbean, type in whatever you want. Type in Captain America, you will find our episode. Type in Batman, you will find other episodes that we have done. And Batman Robin is live at the time. It's been out for a while, or a few weeks at the time you're hearing this. So definitely go check that out. And please listen to our Sandman stuff. We need more people to listen to Sandman. So, and you can hear Ken and me and me be surprised. And you also, then you might get, if you haven't listened, if you don't know Sandman, you will get that destruction comment that Phoebe made, because I didn't even get it and I've read a bunch of Sandman, but it'll make more sense. So definitely go check all those out. If you want to support the show, we do have a Patreon, little dog, you can vote on Patreon. This was a Patreon poll because I couldn't make myself put it on the show, so I just let the patrons decide whether or not we should do it. And one of the votes was, should Ken join us? And everybody voted yes, but Ken, I think, voted no.
And I'm the only one that really liked it. So
yeah, I know.
go figure.
So definitely go do that. We have Discord. Please join our Discord. You'll see a link in the show notes for that. I always have new people join us. And want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro courtesy Helena at Hell Hasfree. You can follow her on TikTok, Twitch, Instagram. Yeah, so definitely go check her out. You see a link to the link tree in the show notes. And I want to give a shout out to Nintendo Main Podcast. One shout out Stage Select Podcast with Julian Titus. Definitely go check him out. Those are some long episodes. If you need a long 3-hour podcast, he got you. So definitely go check. You want to just support my friends. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, YouTube, audio only. We are on all those things. And rate and reviews wherever you get your podcast, please. Helps out the algorithm. I think that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
So long.